Top of it. The United States of America is the most powerful country in the world. And it's been like that since the end of World War II, roughly, since, 1945 or so, when they decided to have the audacity to drop a nuclear bomb on people, Japan. And ever since then, we've been the big dogs. We've economically dominated the world, and we've been thriving ever since. But here it is 80 years later, and it seems like the decline is imminent. And I think a lot of people are waking up to the reality of what prison that we're in, which is really a consumerism prison, I like to call it. You see, that's what makes America so great, is that we love to spend money, man. We constantly buy things. We're constantly being sold things. Commercials everywhere. All kinds of gadgets and gizmos and conveniences. We come up with a lot of things, a lot of technology, a lot of applications on our phones. Hell, we invented the iPhone, changed the world, and the App Store and all that good stuff. And yet, 2025, man, it feels like the world is kind of closing in on us, and we've built this sort of prison for ourselves. And if you're not careful, man, you get carried away into the consumerism hype, you can find yourself locked away, and you're now a slave to the things that you think you own, but really these things own you. I was a victim of it, and I know many people that are a victim of it, man, and it's best to recognize it before it gets too out of hand and before you end up going into debt and really locking yourself away. I mean, there's so many traps that it's really easy to get carried away. Anywhere from buying a house, a mortgage, to renting an apartment, signing a lease, these contracts, paying taxes that are way too high, or even, having car insurance, right? These are all traps, man, and we don't recognize it as such. We recognize it as status symbols and a way to flex on others and feel good about ourselves. You see, man, I had a lot of these things, and I recently took a big loss in my life, and I made a video about it, but it made me take a step back in my lifestyle. I had to downgrade a lot of things, and I've really, even though I lost a lot, I actually gained a lot of freedom. If you check my videos a few months ago, man, I broke a lease on my apartment, man. I still had about, I don't know how many months. I had about 10 or 9 months left on my lease. I broke my lease way earlier than I expected due to some financial hiccups. And, breaking my lease made me really realize that what a trap that was. To sign a lease, to get a good, decent deal on an apartment. I had signed a 13-month lease because it was the best deal. If I signed a 12-month lease, it would have been a bit more expensive. And then, if I would have signed a 6-month lease, it would have been extremely more expensive. And it just made me realize, man, when I broke that lease, I've never done something like that before. I didn't really know the consequences of it, besides my credit being affected, which I don't really need my credit. I don't use it. I'm not buying any major things. I'm not going to buy a house anytime soon. So I weighed the pros and cons and accepted the fact that my credit's going to be hurt, and I'm going to owe, I didn't know I'd owe as much as I do. Allegedly, now I owe $13,000 on my credit, which that's not getting paid. Maybe ever. I might not ever pay that. Just let it fall to the wayside. But what that made me realize is what a con all of this stuff is. It's a scam. It's a big old slave box that we think we're getting away with. We think we're accessing a level of comfort and freedom. And if you're well off, sure, it's a nice convenience, and it's a nice peace of mind to pay a nice lump sum to get a nice house or an apartment somewhere. But if these things are not something you can really afford to really pay off anytime soon, all you're doing is you're just buying yourself a little bit more time. And ultimately, you're just locking yourself into a situation that looks good for now, but you're really just renting that convenience for a little bit. And that's all that we're all doing. Because right now, currently, I have a lease with a guy who owns this house. But he didn't do any background checks on me. He didn't do too much to make it difficult to get in this place. I know how to get a roof over my head for a decent price, and that's where I'm at now. I got some roommates, and I realized, man, if I wanted to, I could, once I'm in a better situation, I could just, on the drop of a dime, I could leave and go somewhere else. And it would be no consequence to my credit or anything else. And I'd save money. And that's real freedom. And that's how it always should be. You should always be able to just decide, or be able to decide, to change your mind and not have to lock yourself into some weird contract just to get a better price. Call it business. Sure, it's business. Hey, you signed up for it. Sure, you're right. But what I'm ultimately saying is, for those that are signing these contracts, which is pretty much everybody, is there's no real level of flexibility or freedom in the way this system is designed. And it's really a win-win for the people who have the bigger money, who have the bigger bank account, who have the better lawyers, better connections. You understand? They're set up to win. And if you're not at that level, you're just going to be playing their game according to how they set it up. And me, I'm always about having the advantage in life. I'm a winner, man. Despite taking losses, ultimately, I'm a winner. I'm always looking for a way to win. I'm always looking for the back door, so to speak, coming in the front door. Meaning, if something goes wrong, I know how to get out quick, the exit. And that's what I think you all should keep in mind as well. Don't ever get too comfortable out here, man, because it's not what you think, man. The system is not a comfortable thing for you if you're not well off. And that's why ultimately, man, in the United States of America, you have to pretty much strive to get wealthy. You have to strive to get rich if you want to have that ultimate freedom, or as much freedom as possible. But if you're just okay with getting by and just the bare minimum, hey man, the world's gonna eat you up, and it's going to take advantage of your minimal efforts. And you really can't get mad at anyone but yourself. You really can't. You can't really complain, because you're choosing to play the game at the level that they make you play it at. But you see, man, when you're gamed up and you have a level of knowledge, you understand that if you want to play a game, you got to know how to win. But if the game is rigged against you, then you really shouldn't even play it. Or if you decide to play it, you should know how to win, even if it involves cheating. You know, like breaking a lease for me, that was kind of cheating. I went against it, and it hurt me, even though I don't really care about my credit. So it really didn't hurt me that much. The apartment complex, they were hurt ultimately. Now they got to find a new tenant, and, you know, they got to clean it out. I didn't clean it up that much. They had to take a slight loss on that. So you can look at it as I lost, but I feel like I won because I got out of there, even though, I got punished for it, penalized. And, there's so many other ones. Like I said, you got mortgages. I mean, God bless you if you got a house that you can't afford. Man, you're locked in long time. And then to get out of that is even more of a credit ding. Car insurance, health insurance, but even more so, let's talk about car insurance for a second. What a scam that is. Incredible, man. The fact that just to drive on this road, to have access to the roads, even for a hoopty or a car that is not new, you still have to get car insurance. Go figure. That's a hell of a scam. Because what if I don't want to have car insurance? And what if somebody wrecks my car and I just decide, man, that's a loss. I'll take that chance. And I got to get a new car out of pocket. You should have the option to do that. And everybody else who has insurance, yeah, they're covered. Cool. But I'm saying if I'm not covered, but I get into a wreck with somebody who is covered, then they should be fine. And then I decided not to have insurance, and then I gotta get a new car. That's my choice. But don't sit here and make it so everybody has to have insurance. Because now, what does that tell me as a man who thinks about winning this game out here? Is the insurance companies are well in a great position to where it's written into the laws that if you want to drive a vehicle, you have to have insurance. That's a golden ticket for the insurance companies. I mean, the insurance companies have more money than the banks, and the banks have an infinite amount of money. So I'm just saying, man, I'm the type, and many times in my life, I've had no car insurance, and I just chose to live like that. And yeah, I've gotten pulled over, maybe had to spend the night in jail, because that's the game, it's the rules. Then you get out and you get back on the road and you continue moving. Hey, this game it's a funny game, man, But imagine you decide not to pay insurance. Think about how much money you save monthly. Think about how much money you save monthly not paying car insurance. It's incredible. You could save so much money to where you would have enough to buy another car if you get into, God forbid, into an accident. So ultimately, man, what I'm saying in this video is you have to have the ability to think for yourself to win in this game. This matrix, this system that's rigged against you. It's rigged against all of us. And I don't care what the rules are, man. Ultimately, it's my rules first. And the rule of life is first self-preservation and survival. I have to survive. I'm not going to go broke to play your rules and to be a goody two-shoes and do what you say. Because my situation may call for me to not follow the rules to the T. I may have to break a lease. I may have to skip out on getting car insurance and take the risk of getting pulled over and spending the night in jail. I may have to take those chances because my finances aren't looking to support your rules. There's people that go broke following the rules, and it makes no sense. Because people are scared to take chances and make up their own rules and play by their own game instead of having to play the game that everybody else plays to the T. You understand me? So I'm not giving any bad advice here. I'm just saying, think for yourself. That's really what I'm saying in this video. Think for yourself. Don't let the world make your decisions and force you into bad situations. You have to make the judgment call ultimately. So that's why it's important, man, to get you some game, have some ability to think for yourself. That's what I really preach on this channel ultimately, is having game, man. It's not just about getting women or you know, anything like that. Game is in every aspect of life. It's doing what it takes to get good information and having the ability to think for yourself, which is a superpower, to think for yourself in a world that's constantly feeding you ways of thinking that counteract your advantage, that constantly want you to be underneath someone else and to have a disadvantage out here. I'm all about having the advantage in some way. I need the advantage, man. I have to win. I'll do what I got to do. So, hey, man, take this video how you may. I'm not saying to do anything illegal, but I am saying do what you got to do. As long as you're not hurting anybody else. Hey, man, I got nothing against that. If doing what you got to do may break a law or two, but you're not hurting anyone else, I see nothing wrong with that. So, that's what I got to say, man. Stay gamed up. Stay sharp out here in this slimy matrix United States of America. I love this country, but I know ultimately this country doesn't necessarily love me. Until it does, we'll have that difference in ideologies. But until this country can start showing some respect to its civilians who have been dedicated to the country since they've been born, hey, man, we got to do what we can do to win. So, have love for yourself, and you can't go wrong. All right? But I hope this video helps you guys. Stay sharp out here. Don't just follow the crowd, man, because the crowd is just doing what the next person is doing. Think for yourself. Speak for yourself. Do what's best for you and your family, all right? But that's it, man. I appreciate y'all watching, man. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Leave a quick like. It's free. And subscribe, man. I got more stuff on the way. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.